So I've been thinking about this topic since Sunday, since Kobe retired. You know, the reason why I titled this Kobe Bryant and Floyd Mayweather Flawed Perfection is for the obvious reasons. We all know about their incidents. Well, Kobe one being in Colorado, and Floyd Mayweather had a handful of incidents with women, and so they'll forever be marred and flawed with what went on with them, and then negligence with women. And in addition to that, I want to talk about the mindset of someone that wants to be great. Now, keep in mind, I'm not throwing that under the rug. I'm just talking about the mindset of it, what it takes to actually get to that level. Um, you have to have isolated focus. And what I mean by isolated focus is uh, nothing else matters. Everything else is not even a secondary uh, a secondary action or a secondary thought. And let's use Kobe Bryant first for an example. When Kobe Bryant first entered the league, like everyone else that enters, probably every young 17, 18, 20-year-old kid that enters the NBA, they want to be better than Michael Jordan. So that goes without notice. Um, However, when you fall, as Kobe did when he airballed 3 times in Utah, you guys can YouTube that. Uh, he told Shaq, he said, Shaq, I want the ball. And two, post those 3 air balls, he says, I'm going to be the best player in the world. I'm going to be the best player and ever live and have more rings than Kobe Bryant. And what he did was, you guys can YouTube this. I actually covered this many years ago. He developed himself. He got in the weight room, got stronger because he realized he had to change his workout regimen and to get stronger coming down the stretch, because he said something that was like his 95th game or something in the 90s, somewhere in there, and his body had already broken down. And if you go back to some old YouTube clips about Kobe Bryant's reaction to that, you'll realize that. But you have to dedicate yourself 100%. And it's easier said than done. People say, I give 110%. You only can give 100%. So when someone say they give it 110%, that's actually it sounds better than it really is. You can't really give 110%. And when you're given 100%, you cannot waver. When you're looking at someone like Shaquille O'Neal, who's probably the most dominant man to ever play in the NBA, with the exception, some may argue, baby boomers may argue Wilt Chamberlain, but arguably the most dominant player to ever play in the NBA. You look him square in the eye and says, in addition to me better than you, I'm holding you to a higher standard. You can be better. Hey, Shaquille O'Neal, you've never won Defensive Player of the Year. You're the most dominant big man to ever play in this game, and yet you've never won Defensive Player of the Year. So you're slacking. You're not blocking as many shots. You're not getting as many defensive rebounds. You're not changing as many shots. And that's the kind of focus you got to have. When you can look the devil square in the eye and say, you know what, I can defeat you. You can look Goliath square in the face and say, you know what, I can beat you. And the same holds true for Floyd Mayweather when he looked Bob Arum square in the face and says, you know what, I'm the greatest boxer to ever put on a pair of gloves. You're going to pay me $2 million per fight? No, I decline that contract. I'm better than Oscar De La Hoya. I'm better than everyone else. And two, I'm leaving because you're undermining my potential and my current ability. And so I'm going to leave, and I guarantee you will regret it. 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, excuse me, he signed a $33 million per fight deal with Showtime and CBS, which is astonishing because if they don't sell a ticket, he gets $33 million. If he does not sell a pay-per-view, he gets $33 million. And here's the catch with people who attain greatness. Mediocrity is like cancer to them. They can't function around mediocrity. So that's why you often see great people make mistakes, because they're in rare air. And I'm gonna give examples like I had this conversation years ago when Michael Jackson died. Um, we live in a cesspool of mediocrity. And when Michael Jackson has to consistently dumb himself down to function in a mediocre world, it's hard for them to do it. So they can't sustain themselves. They can sustain themselves when they're in the realm of greatness. And you may say that's a that's flawed. That's they may be flawed, quite possibly. But in addition to that, we as an overall mediocre society, uh, and my definition of mediocre is, well, 70%, 73% of Americans overweight and or obese, and I think 81%, 81%, some alarm. I haven't checked this in a while, but it's close to 80% earn wages that they feel they don't deserve. They feel they deserve more. Uh, so that's my definition of mediocre, when you feel you're not achieving what you truly believe you're achieving, and the results are in. So, uh, but people in rare, like you always mention, like Kurt Cobain, uh, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson. Um, um, there are many people I'm drawing the blank on. I had a list before. I didn't write it down, but I had a list of people. Um, well, Marvin Gaye was killed by his father. Elvis Presley. They resort to other realities like drugs and alcohol and over-the-counter prescriptions, and because they can't function in doing mediocre things, they ultimately believe that their greatness is, in addition, better than our mediocre society, but we refuse to go along with you. That's why we have to create a alternative reality, and that's what many of these people do. And you guys may not agree with me, but you've never been in the brain. But when you've given 100%, you truly know you've given 100%. And when you can consistently give 100%, then then mediocre people ward off. So if you're giving 80% and you're running for 3 days, and a person's giving 100% and you guys are running for 3 days, there's going to be a huge disparity in the amount of ground you guys have covered. You know what I mean? And that's why, uh, getting back to Floyd and Kobe, they're not socially apt. And the reason why they're not socially apt is because, one, they haven't developed that skill. Floyd Mayweather was to defend punches and throw punches, and he said, "I'm going to be the greatest at doing this." Kobe Bryant was job was to defend his basket and score in his basket, and he's probably the second greatest guard to ever do it. I don't think there'll ever be a guard. Well, I'll be dead, but in my lifetime, there won't be a guard greater than Michael Jordan. But Kobe Bryant is pretty damn close, and and that's the reality of it. Like, uh, I was having a conversation with one of my friends. He says, Kobe Bryant is a basketball player. You don't expect him to go perform a, a heart transplant, and that's the reality of it. Kobe Bryant dedicated his life to the sport of basketball, and when you dedicate yourself to the sport of basketball, remember what I said at the beginning of the video. They can't be any other secondary focuses. They can't be any other secondary uh, variables. You have to give 100%, and that's exactly what they did. And that's why I titled this Flawed Perfection, because everything else in their life they haven't been great at. And that's the reality of it. If you're a balanced individual, like most of us are, we have moments of greatness, but many of our days are spent doing mediocre things, going to work, uh, uh, don't underestimate what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, like, you doing social normalcies. Go to work, talk to a few friends, hug your girlfriend, hug your boyfriend, hug your husband, hug your wife, have dinner, and recycle the thing. When you step out of yourself, when you're doing things that aligns with your purpose, then that stands for greatness. You know, if you feel your greatness is um, creating a nonprofit to feed children, or through basketball, you know what the underlying effect, and you know, because it aligns itself with your soul and with your spirit. I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit more metaphysical than this, but I just got want you to understand that when you make that commitment to greatness, you're going to be imperfect everywhere else. And that's the reality of it. I'm not condoning those mishaps and those confirmed charges that they had in Kobe being in Colorado and Floyd in Vegas or Los Angeles, wherever it took place. But I'm and and I've interviewed Floyd Mayweather. I've been around Kobe, and they're socially inept to a certain degree, you know, and that's because, and people say Floyd can't read, but he can box his ass off, you know. Floyd is selfish, but he can box his ass off. These are the things that allowed him to be great. He had to be 100% selfish. He didn't graduate from high school. We know this because he had to dedicate himself to the sport of boxing. Kobe had to dedicate himself to the sport of basketball. And that's just my take on it. I've been a huge fan of Kobe for many years. Um, and Kobe's been nothing short of greatness in that Laker uniform. And this is his farewell. I don't think this is Floyd's farewell, but I'll say it because it's politically correct right now. But I think Floyd is coming back. I don't think Kobe will come back. But let me know what you guys think. Um, now that we see, now that we have in our generation, we should be thankful. We've had a reflection of what greatness looks like in a boxing ring, and we've had a reflection of what greatness looks like on a basketball court. Now, if you choose to be a boxer, if you choose to be a boxer, I mean, if you choose to be a basketball player, you know what it looks like. Or if you choose to be anything else, you know the type of dedication that it requires. And the sacrifices will illuminate if you become a public figure. So these sacrifices that they've made has allowed their flaws to illuminate more because they're in the social light. So everything that they say and do will be magnified times 10. So let me know what you guys think. Barbershop Conversations. Appreciate you guys' support. And I mean, these are two giants in the sport. At the end of the day, we have no choice but to respect their gifts and talents and give them the ultimate respect for what they've done. They've sacrificed a lot for our personal entertainment. Love Floyd Mayweather or hate Floyd Mayweather, he's entertained you uh, 49 times. You stopped your life 49 times to enjoy him. Kobe Bryant, the same way. Love him or hate him, he entertains you 82 games a year before this terrible 3 years injury parade he's had. But prior to these 3 years, he's entertained you for 82 games, and and when he can look Shaquille O'Neal in the eye and say, you're underachieving and you're averaging 28 points and 13 rebounds and 2 block shots. When you can look Goliath in the face and say, you're underachieving, and if you continuously underachieve, I'm going to replace you with a guy I can get maximum out of and still get the same results, him being Paul Gasol. Hey, that's the reality. So barbershop conversation. So now we got to look Goliath in the eye. On the individual note, look out Goliath in the eye and say, I'm greater than you. I can defeat you. Barbershop Conversations. Appreciate you guys' support. And I look forward to bringing you guys more content. This is half boxing, half others. So talk to you soon, guys. Peace.